so much for joining us for this episode of Leading Change. My name is Emma, and I've got Amanda with me today. And we're going to be talking about the blend of digital first but human-enabled experiences. But before I get to all the questions that I've got for you, Amanda, can you give everybody an introduction?
I'd love to. Thanks for having me today, Emma. My name is Amanda Wallace. I'm head of insurance operations at MassMutual, and I'm responsible for all the service and experience journeys for all of our customers at MassMutual. And I'm super excited to talk about today's topic, digital first and human enabled.
Thank you for joining me. And we teamed up on an event a couple of weeks ago, and I knew that I wanted to continue some of the conversation that we had. So I'm excited to have you here with me. So to get us started, I always kind of do like a level setting question, so to speak, to get everybody on the same page. So I mentioned that idea of digital first. And when we're talking about the idea of digital first, like I want to kind of hear from your perspective, whether it's investors, customers, employees, what's made it so clear over the last couple of years that that is like 100% an initiative that needs to be front and center?
Well, Emma, I really like to think of it as a customer-obsessed approach versus a strictly digital-first approach. Let's be honest, our needs and our customer needs have evolved quickly, especially over the past 2 years. And it's not just about enabling transactions digitally, which is really kind of what digital-first often implies, but it's more about serving the right context at the right time, at the right channel, to deliver personalized experiences that are tailored by channel, geography, and customer data. We have to start transitioning away from thinking about helping a customer through one transaction and really focus instead on creating a relationship that will last the entire lifetime over all their experiences and channels with our brand. Just think about how our own experiences have changed. When you think about a traditional personal in-person experience, like when you go out to a restaurant, today you pull out your phone to take a picture of the QR code to look at the menu. Or maybe you Venmo your friend to pay for half of the dinner. These very in-person experiences have heavily integrated digital components. And when you think about the flip side on typical digital experiences, let's say changing your 401k contributions, they can have human-enabled components too. For example, I changed my 401k contribution online the other week, which resulted in some tax questions that started off with a digital chat and evolved into an outbound phone call to assist with more complex tax-related questions. It's about how that customer obsession and the focus on the total experience creates relationships that help retain customers and acquire new ones. And what's really fascinating in the organization is that we have the ability to change customer behavior and build relationships by how we really promote those digital experiences and services and blend them with the human interactions. The new world's really complex, and it requires cross-functional experiences, and customers need context. And we as experience and journey creators, because that's really what we do, we have to be able to communicate and give that customer context to help them understand what they're requesting, whether it's an appointment, a loan, a quote. And you think about us as customers, we've all been trained to go online and look for what we're searching for, which pulls the pressure away from us as customers and places the pressure with the brand to know what information I'm looking for. Because, when you can't find something online, you get upset. And it's not our fault as customers that the company didn't have what I need when I needed it. Ultimately, this is putting a lot less burden on the customers and requires us as experience creators to be better at communicating that context to help customers understand their choices. It's going to require us to break our models and break down the silos to be able to be truly customer obsessed. That customer experience and the total experience journey, of which digital is a huge part of, is going to be the battleground to retain and acquire new customers and really enhance those brand perceptions and company performance. It's a whole new world. Digital first is a huge part of it, but you have to think about the whole journey together and those human-enabled components.
So you did a perfect segue for me. But I really, before we dive into it, I love that idea of thinking of yourself as an experience and journey provider. And so when we take a look at that, I do want to dive into how do we make sure that we're bringing that human element and that enabled by human into the experience at the right point so that we're building those relationships that you talked about?
So it's a long journey. And let's not forget who our services are for. They're for our most valued customers and our humans. And we have to give them that personalized experience to be competitive. And, let's be honest, within the insurance industry, legacy systems, the behind the scenes, are really siloed. Operations and experiences, it's really complex behind that digital front end. And we need our humans to help bridge that experience and bring the promise to life when our customers need it. We need our customers to really enter into that environment where they can have a total experience, where we understand who they are, their profile, their services, their experiences. And they want to be able to really do everything they need, whether it's digital required or not, whether it can be done digitally or requires a more complex discussion. Let's be honest, when you're in your time of need with either the death of a loved one, a car accident, a tax-related retirement question, a forced digital first experience isn't going to make customers feel valued. If I'm in the car with my kids and we get in an accident, I don't want to go online to fill out a form. I want someone to talk to because I'm scared, I'm nervous, and I need help. A great experience is the experience I need right now, not the experience a company would rather provide because it's easier for them. I mean, we've all had those experiences. And when you think about that customer journey future state, it has to really support that empowered customer experience. It has to be inclusive of all the transactions or requests, whether the company has that's online or whether it's on the phone or in person. But it has to be when I need it and how I need it, which, by the way, is probably going to be different than how you need it. It has to be really personalized to you, leveraging really large amounts of customer data to enable that total experience, which includes both the digital and the human-enabled experiences.
See, this is why I was so excited to continue the conversation, because I love the way that you phrase some of those pieces of it's how and when I need it, not the way that a company thinks it's the most convenient to interact with you. And I think that we oftentimes assume that that how and why is always digital, as opposed to recognizing that when we put ourselves in the context of a situation, even as individuals, we're going to have a varied experience of how we would expect to interact. And the next question that comes to mind, and where I want to round out our conversation, is when we have these complex components of blending digital and human to human, and we've got these different skill sets that are emerging, can you share a little bit about what you guys are doing from a team development standpoint to make sure that the humans that are responsible for building these journeys have the right skill sets to do so?
Yeah, I'd love to. And what's really fascinating about focusing on that total experience journey is that we're really creating shared experiences. And what I mean by that is we're creating shared experiences not only with our customers, but also with our employees. This isn't just about what that customer experience is, but it's also about how we develop and engage with our employees in our new world and ensure they feel included as we develop what's going to be our new journey together and build skills with us and grow with us. As a leader, you really have to think about both the organization's digital dexterity as well as communication and emotional intelligence skills. So you can think about how you determine progress, identify new capabilities, and develop a plan to build additional skills and address gaps. And I really think about this in two ways. And let's do the digital first, and then we'll get to the human component. For digital, you have to look at competencies and mindsets, including, but not only, the use of digital tools. Think about tools and technologies like Slack and Teams and Zoom and chatbots and websites and emails and images and phones and workflow systems, all the things that we use to engage and collaborate with our customers. It's a lot to manage, and we have to try to simplify it as much as possible to make our employees' jobs easier. You also need to re-engineer the process and implement new ways of operating for online service, virtual sales experiences, fraud authentication, e-signature, whatever it is that's traditionally been done by paper, wet signatures, or in-person interactions. You can't just take a paper or phone process and turn it digital. You have to redesign all the different components and allow the experience interactions to work effectively together, which, by the way, is much harder than it sounds. A payment option, for example, could have 74 variations depending on the customer's total experience journey. And being able to develop that, it's a very different skill set than what we use today that takes time to develop throughout the entire organization. When you think about digital transformation, it's an all hands on deck experience. It's not limited to the C-suite. Leaders have to really ensure they inspire, motivate, and mobilize people at all levels in the organization to really ensure they participate in the reimagination. They become supporters of the new tools and processes and share their perspectives on innovation. Without that support, digital transformation doesn't happen. You automate or you digitize a process when you're really trying to really transform a total experience journey. It's a lot of work and it takes a lot of skill development to be able to help employees make that transition. And when you think about the more human components and the pieces that still need to be done over the phone or in person, it's about focusing on the human intelligence, empathy, inclusion, which can help us enable to resolve conflicts, build more productive teams, improve our relationships with coworkers, clients, and our customers. We've spent a fair amount of time and energy and resources on developing talent to develop empathy, use listening cues, recognizing emotions in others, and the ability to understand the customer perspective. And we call it customer advocacy. We all know that sometimes a customer is asking question A when they really want to know the answer to question B, but they don't know to ask question B. You have to develop training programs to help your service stars probe effectively and not just answer the question in front of them, and go above and beyond to enable that customer relationship to keep growing. And you really do that by helping your service stars grow and develop as individuals. And a huge part of this is culture. And getting culture right is critical because it's one of the main accelerators of digital transformation and overall organizational performance. Culture has that direct impact on mindsets. Good cultures support good mindsets, and harmful cultures are the ones that you don't want to work at for very long. A total customer experience journey really provides that opportunity for more voices at the table and new connections across different functions. And it really invites everyone to be part of that innovation process, which can improve the quality and quantity of ideas if you do it well. And really successful leaders will make a concentrated effort on diversity and inclusion, which has to be an integral part of your digital transformation efforts. So you can continue to focus on connecting with team members and creating cultures that value new ideas and innovation. Firms that stay focused on that total customer experience journey and developing the human capital are the only ones that are going to survive. Because really, as a customer, would you be willing to do business with any firm that isn't? I know I wouldn't, and I know my teams wouldn't, but that's what makes the future ahead of us so exciting.
Thank you so much for joining me for the conversation, Amanda. And for anybody that's watching that's not already, make sure you make your way over to her LinkedIn, give her a follow, keep up with the events that she's going at and speaking at, because obviously she's got a lot of really great information to share. Thank you again for joining me, and have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Leading Change. If you liked what you saw, be sure to subscribe and come back weekly for more expert interviews on digital transformation, change management, and emerging technologies.